Pauls Valley High School in Oklahoma, where the principal tackled the school shooter. That's what I need in my principles. But let's get over into it and see what we can find out about this whole case. We got a few videos to look at. And then
taking you now to this, you're watching dramatic new video coming out of Oklahoma this morning. Here you see a high school principal bursting into action, tackling this would-be gunman and disarming him right in the hallway. Spencer Humphrey from our News Nation station in Oklahoma City with the story.
There's no audio, but the footage speaks for itself. Pauls Valley High School principal Kirk Moore heroically tackling a gunman attempting to shoot students inside the school's lobby. Security camera timestamps show it all happened right at 2:19 p.m. last Tuesday. The suspected shooter, a former student, 20-year-old Victor Hawkins. You see Hawkins enter the school waving a gun, then pacing around slowly behind a vending machine. Two students sit on benches feet away. It's a little hard to tell because there's no audio, but Hawkins' arrest affidavit says during this time he actually tried to fire a shot at a student, but his gun jammed, and that's when he went behind that vending machine. Seconds later, he steps out and fires a shot. A female student notices and immediately runs the other way. At the same time, Hawkins aims directly at one of the students on those benches. The student lifts his hands in the air. Court documents say he asked Hawkins not to shoot him. Then comes Principal Moore to the rescue, barreling at full speed out of his office, tackling Hawkins onto the bench, giving that student a chance to run to safety. If you look closely, Hawkins actually points his gun point blank at Moore's head when he exits his office. It's unclear exactly when, but court documents say he managed to shoot Moore in his leg. Seconds later, the assistant principal runs out as well, taking Hawkins' gun and putting it inside the office, while an injured Moore continues laying on top of Hawkins until police get there.
I have to start with a massive thank you for that administration.
Mo Kennedy is the executive director of the National Association of School Resource Officers. He says there's no two ways about it.
For him to take that action, seeing that, the danger to his students, to his staff, others in the building, that is heroic.
that is an educator, if I say so myself. That is someone who his job is to protect the children. And without any hesitation, he immediately tackled him, getting shot trying to do it. Absolutely. See, I'm trying to understand a former student. So it's not even a case where he was bullied in school. This is just a man who already graduated or didn't finish, however you want to call it. We don't know exactly his background, but he came there trying to cause damage and kill whoever he saw. And we got the hero principal who jumps up, takes a bullet, and tackles him to the ground. That's what
Equivocally, Moore and that assistant principal are nothing short of heroes.
There's no question that is above and beyond. And again, I don't even know him, but I'm really proud of him.
With all that said, the video also reveals something concerning. Take a look at the first moment Hawkins walks in the building. See that? It's someone's arm pushing the door open for him. We reached out to the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, who confirmed to us Hawkins was able to get in the building because that person opened that locked door. OSBI telling us they do not suspect the person was working in coordination with Hawkins, instead merely doing what they thought was a favor to someone needing to get inside.
And that's human nature. But looking at something like this, you have to realize that when you choose to open the door and let someone in, that can create this type of situation.
Now, I feel like there's protocols in the school system to where if the doors are locked, they have to go through a certain exit or a certain entrance that usually has a resource officer or someone there who was seeing who was allowed to come into the school at the time. At least that's my thinking. Tell me if I'm wrong, y'all, but let's keep going.
He says there's multiple layers to school security, from physical barriers like locks and doors, or security systems like cameras and alarms. But equally as important, having a culture and climate of safety.
We can do everything in the world to secure that physical environment, but if there is not a culture and climate that says it's not okay to open doors for people, then that's going to continue to happen.
I mean, just extraordinary intervention. That was Spencer Humphrey reporting there. We can tell you this morning, Principal Kirk Moore is out of the hospital. He is recovering, so we're wishing him well. And as a mother myself, I think I speak for every parent in hoping and praying that our children's school faculty and staff would intervene in that way as well.
Thank you for watching.
I mean, anyone who has a parent would want them to react. He definitely went above and beyond, but we want someone who, if your job is to protect the students, protect the students. I'm happy that he was able to survive the encounter, but he risked his life to protect the people he care about. And that's the students of the school he works for or he's in charge of. Let's get over into this next video just to get a little bit more information.
Heart-stopping video shows a heroic Oklahoma high school principal tackling a Columbine-obsessed ex-student moments after allegedly being shot. 60-year-old Kirk Moore charged at 20-year-old Victor Lee Hawkins, who was armed with 2 loaded semi-automatic pistols, in the lobby of Pauls Valley High School last Tuesday afternoon, a moment that was caught on surveillance footage. Moore, who was the only person injured as Hawkins opened fire inside the school, was hailed for his bravery and preventing a tragedy of a much larger scale. Hawkins allegedly told investigators he didn't like Principal Moore and went to school to kill him. He ordered everyone to get onto the ground before trying to fire at one student in the lobby, court documents reportedly revealed. The crazed gunman's weapon malfunctioned before he aimed his pistol at another student, who begged him not to open fire. Moore, who has worked in the school district for more than 35 years, rushed to the school lobby to investigate the commotion. Hawkins was seen pointing his weapon at Moore's head and firing a shot, which struck the educator's right leg before he was tackled. The principal shoved the gunman toward a bench before getting on top of him, while the terrified student fled. Moore pinned down Hawkins' right hand, stopping him from firing his pistol before the weapon dropped onto the floor. Another adult male wearing a red shirt and beige pants sprinted into the shot before helping Moore and kicking the gun away. Hunter McKee of the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation praised Moore and staffers for their quick-thinking response, saying, "The actions of the staff and the principal stepping in as soon as they saw a subject with a firearm saved lives today." Brett Knight, the Pauls Valley superintendent, described Moore as a hero, the Oklahoman reported. Hawkins admitted to stealing the guns from his dad and told investigators he wanted to conduct his own school shooting, like the Columbine shooters did, referring to the 1999 massacre that left 14 victims dead. Hawkins has been charged with shooting with intent to kill and other firearm-related charges and will appear in court on May 8th. Meanwhile, Moore said he's healthy and recovering after being hospitalized.
See, he tried. Y'all see where he said he was aiming for the principal, but he didn't just target the principal. He came in there, was willing to shoot anybody he saw. And then I guess he was going to make his way to the principal eventually and kill him. But that is what I'm talking about. We need people like that in the school who are willing to step up and protect the children. Let's get over into the AI breakdown just to get a little bit more information on this whole thing. It's an absolutely tragic situation, y'all. Let's jump over into it. So, as we know, on April 7, 2026, Kirk Moore, the principal of the Pauls Valley High School in Oklahoma, tackled the armed former student in the school's lobby. The suspect, Victor Lee, 20-year-old, a former student who graduated in 2025. So he's just a 2025. Huh? Entered the school around 2:20, armed with 2 semi-automatic. Honestly, I'm trying to understand. He's 20, so he graduated when he was. Oh well, that ain't too bad. So he failed a semester. He failed a year. Okay, that 20 and graduating threw me off a little bit. So we had Hawkins reportedly entered with the intent to kill students and staffers based on the Columbiana-inspired attack. He initially targeted a student, but his weapon malfunctioned. After clearing the jam, he fired at another student but missed. Or he was about to fire at another student. As the student pled for mercy, Principal Moore rushed from his office and tackled him onto a bench. He was shot in the lower right leg during the struggle. He was airlifted to the hospital and has since been released and recovering in a stable condition. So he was arrested at the scene and faces multiple felony charges, including shooting with the intent to kill, unlawful carry of a firearm, pointing a firearm. He is currently being held at the Gavin County Detention Center on $1 million bond. I'm surprised they don't have a charge. At least I'm not aware of all the charges, but a charge for just shooting inside of a school. I mean, a school shooter charge. They should have a school shooter charge. I mean, but let's keep going though. And then we know the community response, local law enforcement and officials praise him for his bravery. Absolutely craziness. Now, tell me your thoughts about this whole situation, y'all. A former student comes back aiming at the staffers and the students. And we got the principal who risked his life to save them. Now, some people, like they said, that's above and beyond their duties. Would it be differently if he didn't? I mean, how would you feel if, I don't know how to say this. Because technically that's, as someone who's been in high school and someone who's going to have a family eventually, knowing that a principal did all this makes me very happy. But that is technically, I don't know if that's their training to do that. I think they're trained to lock it down. I don't know for sure, but let me know your thoughts. I would like to know how they are trained to handle situations like that. Are they supposed to tackle the person? Are they supposed to leave? I would think you need to tackle them. But the first question is, at least allow the teachers to have some pistols or something. But hey, that's a whole different story. And I guess the liability of that whole thing would just be crazy. But like I said, let me know your thoughts on this situation, y'all. Let me know how you feel.